WWE Raw review, ladies and gentlemen, the last Raw before the Elimination Chamber. Very interesting show. We're going to talk about it, review it here for you today.
Turns out Logan Paul is from the state of Ohio, which surprised me as I...
The show starts off with a Logan Paul promo. Good promo, solid promo. Logan Paul obviously is from Cleveland, Ohio, and made Cincinnati very, very aware of that. Logan Paul is really good. I think Logan Paul, I've said this before, but I think creators and entertainers and influencers are really, like, they're naturally fit. They're a perfect fit for the WWE because they understand the audience. They understand heat. They understand storylines. They understand all of that. They understand it way better than former athletes or, anyone who isn't in the business of getting an audience or talking to a group of people, whether it's through the internet or in person. We've always seen prospects come up into the WWE and have a really hard time with that point, or even people from the independents, because they're used to being in front of an audience of a couple hundred people, maybe 1,000 people or 2,000 people, and they have no idea how to deal with an arena or how to deal with like a huge mass of people. So these influencers who can also physically wrestle, I mean, even Pat McAfee, like, these guys are great at this. Logan Paul is great at this. Even the AJ and Big Justice in AEW, they are good at the sports entertainment part of wrestling. So I think Logan's great. With that being said, if I was in the back, I would tell him, hey, man, you are a natural heel. Like, you're naturally an asshole. You're naturally hateable. You don't have to lean into it that much. Like, you don't have to... It doesn't take much for people to not like you. Just be you. Just be more of Logan Paul and less of Logan Paul the heel character when you're giving the promo.
I thought he hailed from Pricksville, Knobheadland, but it worked perfectly for him to open this episode of Raw, getting hometown heat from his own people. He called them peasants. He made a derogatory local sports team reference. But saying he was going to win the Elimination Chamber was a step too far, because that's when out came CM Punk. Wearing a Chicago Teachers Union sweater, that was unfortunately the most shootiest we got from Punk here. Despite Logan having so many real-life controversies you could bring up in a back-and-forth promo, Punk just spoke in vagaries or kayfabe. Logan has no substance. Logan's just trying to get attention. And Punk will eliminate him in the chamber as a receipt for Logan throwing him out of the Rumble. Logan then slapped Punk and ran away, which he won't be able to do in the chamber come this Saturday.
Punk's kind of... I mean, look, I love CM Punk like a brother, but he's kind of lost in the shuffle right now. He's a pseudo babyface, but he's always going to have that tinge of heel to him. But right now, he's not the biggest babyface, but he's also not a heel. So he's kind of caught in limbo. Very similar to Seth, but he's, even more pronounced than Seth. But CM Punk is a little bit lost in the shuffle.
The segment did the bare match building basics, but considering this is a go-home segment with Logan Paul and CM Punk holding live mics in the middle of a ring, this was underwhelming. Talk about the hat, Punk! Reference the hat! After Penta has beaten both Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser clean twice over the last month, and Kaiser accidentally cost Dunne the match last week, they all had a triple threat match here. This was really good action.
Yeah, pretty good match. It had a Canadian Destroyer in it, which is the basis for how I evaluate all matches, so it's good enough for me.
Of course it was. Look at the three names in this match. But the finish was Kaiser stealing Penta's win by pinning Dunne. While Penta didn't get pinned, he did technically lose a match here, ending his proper unbeaten streak. I think that could have been built up for longer. Rhea Ripley talked up her women's title defense against Iyo Sky for next Monday, bringing up how she's never beaten Iyo, but they haven't wrestled for 5 years now, and she's grown a lot since then. The camera then pulled back, and Iyo...
Yeah, kind of wild. It was a wild shot because they're up in the rafters. They're up in the nosebleeds. So where was Iyo Sky? Was she just there? Like, was she just... I know it literally. She was, like, behind the camera. But, like, for her to walk in, what is she doing up here? This seems like it probably could have been backstage to do this. It seems like it would make more sense for her to be there than up in the, the 214th row.
It was awkwardly standing right there.
Yeah.
The New Day beat the LWO to not much heat because Kofi and Woods haven't been credibly booked, and the LWO are bare.
Who in the hell were these guys? I was absolutely shocked When these guys came out, I thought they were, when I saw them in the ring, I thought they were like hometown jobbers. But then I saw the LWO stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, these are actually rostered wrestlers? What is this match? This is a Velocity Sunday Night Heat match if I ever saw one. Yeah, this was, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Barely a threat either. The New Day beat Dragon Lee up afterwards too, meaning they did get to stand tall for a change. But for me, it's too little, too late. The WWE TNA crossover is strong because Raw then showed Adam Pac-Man Jones in the crowd. Yes, he's more famous as a very controversial NFL player, but he's also a former TNA Tag Team Champion, where in one of the most TNA things TNA ever did, he somehow both won and lost the belts without ever being touched, because the Tennessee Titans he played for at the time wouldn't let him wrestle. In a really good segment, Gunther revealed he will
All right, so this segment right here, I did like. Gunther comes out, tits out for the boys, announces he's going to wrestle tonight, and announces that it's going to be against Tozawa. I thought the segment was good. I liked it. Dastardly heel work. Only thing I would have done differently is I would have made it a championship match. I would have had Gunther come out, same thing, and say, I'm putting my championship on the line tonight. Really get things, the pomp and circumstance, bring out the referee, put the belt on the table, do the whole thing, and then say against Tozawa. Have Tozawa get a world championship opportunity. Same exact match, same exact pacing. I would have just had the title on the line.
Actually be wrestling a match tonight against a hand-picked opponent to warm up for Jey Uso at WrestleMania. And that opponent is Akira Tozawa. It was neatly set up from the very start of the show, where Gunther gave a dancing Alpha Academy a look of disgust when he entered the building. The idea is that Tozawa, like Jey, is a goofball, that the fans enjoy him as a clown, not as a serious wrestler like Gunther. This set up a perfect squash match story. Akira showed great fire, the crowd was super into his brief flurry.
Yeah, I mean, no one thought, obviously Tozawa would win, but these brief fire and the flurry and all that stuff, I think, is enhanced if the title's on the line.
Of offense against Gunther, but ultimately Gunther killed him dead.
Yeah, he
into
murdered
Otis
him
afterwards too,
Yeah.
leading to a Jey Uso save. It was really effective, but if I'm being critical, which is kind of my job, it also feels really mid-card. This doesn't feel like a feud over a world title. Jey checked on Akira backstage afterwards.
Well, the Jey thing right now is problematic because I think if I'm the WWE, I feel like I've gotten mixed signals. If I'm the WWE, I'm like, wait a minute, this guy is super over. Y'all like this guy. Y'all love him. Y'all want him to win. Y'all want him to do all this stuff. Y'all are buying his merch. Y'all are saying yeet. Y'all are dancing when he comes out. Y'all love him. Why do y'all hate him now? I don't know if it was one of those things where the crowd wanted what they wanted until they got it, and then now they don't want it. Maybe they like dancing, they like saying yeet, but maybe they didn't want him to be a main event, literally a Royal Rumble winner. Maybe that's the situation, but the fact that WWE now, think about the pacing, right? So Jey Uso goes through his whole yeet thing, gets hot enough to win the Rumble, and then immediately the crowd flips on him and turns on him. Well, the crowd doesn't turn on him. The crowd loves him still, but they turn on him in the sense of being a main eventer. So now the WWE has to scramble and say, okay, we have 2 months to prop him up as credible, even though they thought they've already done that. So now we're seeing Jey. What's the storyline now? The storyline now is everyone thinks he's a meme. The storyline now is everyone thinks he's a joke. The storyline now is everyone thinks he's a one word, he's a clown. So they're taking what the IWC is saying, and now they're trying to answer those questions very directly. And we'll see that in a promo with Waller later on.
And ended up super kicking Grayson Waller for reading Reddit comments about how they don't think Jey will win.
Damn it, this guy's reading my mind. Exactly. Grayson Waller basically comes out and says, I mean, he really does just read tweets. He's just like, they think you're a meme, they think you're 4 letters, they think you're this, they think you're that. And Jey Uso is basically like, yeah, answers, starting to try and answer the critics. So that's obviously what we're going to try and do here, is we're going to try and take the negative reaction and answer it on a weekly basis to try and make this thing credible. But it's not a great look right now.
McAfee gave it.
If I was in the writer's room, I would really be thinking about, do we need to pivot this into a triple threat or a fatal four-way? Like, do we need to find a way to pivot this? One way that I thought, so SmackDown, when Jimmy Uso got the win, Big Jim, first thing I thought was, are they trying to make Big Jim strong to insert him in this match? Are they trying to make it a triple threat with both Usos and Gunther? Because that's what's going on here. I'm not saying that is, but I would not be surprised at all if there was conversations in the back of, do we need to maneuver this match around?
It's a breakdown analysis of Michael Cole's stretch it out buttons on his implosive podcast appearance.
This was shocking to watch.
It's Lyra Valkyria taking on Dakota Kai for the IC title in a rematch of their January tournament final. They worked quick and hard, rushing through as many.
This is a good match. Like, this was a good match. Relatively, okay, it's Dakota Kai and Valkyria. Like, okay, let's rock and roll here. But it was a pretty solid match. A ton of bridges out of pins.
Spots as they could fit in, but the match ended quite abruptly when Lyra hit her broken wing to win. It was all really to set up the post-match angle where Ivy Nile took out both Dakota and Lyra in her mission to win the IC belt. Which begs the question, why not just have Ivy win the #1 contenders match last week and build her up strong? Sami Zayn had a great sit-down interview with Jackie Redmond, where following Kevin Owens sitting outside his family home on SmackDown, Sami confessed he went to see KO's mum. He didn't beat her up or anything, but he also didn't know what he was doing. He doesn't recognize himself anymore. It brilliantly got over how fragile Sami's body is right now. His neck isn't where he'd want it to be, but it also made him an unsanctioned level threat, as KO has put him in a place where he doesn't know what he'll do to Owens.
Do y'all care about this match? I mean, I just can't find myself caring at all about the Owens-Sami Zayn thing. I don't care that it's unsanctioned. I don't care that, I just feel like it's a replay of the same thing we've seen before with the same two people in a very different hue. But I just can't get there.
Following on from the Rock SmackDown segment.
All right, so this segment right here, very important segment, because the Rock's promo was such a disaster on SmackDown that it really confused everybody of what the hell is going on with the Cody Rhodes thing. And CM Punk and Logan Paul's promo off at the beginning, CM Punk mentioned Cody being asked to sell his soul or whatever, which I thought did more for the promo than anything The Rock did. So Cody is now tasked with coming out here and resetting the stage and trying to get this thing home. Like, trying to get this thing to where everyone understands what's going on. And everyone understands what is at stake here. And everyone understands what is the question that he has to answer at Elimination Chamber. So, very important promo, and I was all ears.
Cody Rhodes came out on Raw to give his thoughts on whatever it was that The Rock wanted him to do. Get more Instagram likes? I'm still confused. Cody said how the decision he's going to make doesn't just affect him. It affects his family, his training school, the memory of his father. But Cody forgot the one guy who claims he'll feel it the most. Meryl Streep in the S&M version of Devil Wears Prada, aka Seth Rollins.
So Cody comes out and says that it's basically security. It's basically money. It's basically his family being safe for generations. It's basically like he doesn't have to work until he's 60. He doesn't have to bleed and sweat and all this stuff on, going on tour like his dad did. He can just be safe, be comfortable. His family can be comfortable. He can make the monies, whatever. So Cody has laid it out that if he goes corporate, if he quote unquote sells his soul, then he'll pretty much just make a ton of money and whatever. Which, not to nitpick, because this has only been not even a week, but this does seem kind of weird. Like, the whole point of being the world champion is the rich lifestyle and getting the money and wearing the suits and having the belt and being the superstar. And like, I don't think anybody before this was under the assumption that Cody was hurting, that Cody couldn't pay his bills, or that his family could. Like, he's got his own tour bus. I think in today's day and age, like, everything's so transparent. I don't think anyone believes, like, yeah, Yeah, I think Cody does have to sell his soul in order to make ends meet. Like, yeah, that does make sense. He does have a daughter. You know, I guess he does have to feed Farrah. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think this is one of those things where when you state what it is, when you state being the corporate champion or whatever, like, I don't know if people care that much about the finance. I don't know if they care that much about financial security.
Somehow, this is the first time Cody and Seth have been in the same ring together since Rollins helped Rhodes win at WrestleMania 40.
Rollins comes out to try and do the same thing, try and establish what's going on here. I think Rollins does a really good job because Rollins goes at it from a bit of a different angle. He goes at it more from when he was the Authority's champion and he was their hand or whatever. And that is probably more of a relatable thing where it's like, yeah, we don't want Cody to be a corporate champion. We don't want Cody to be the Authority's hand and all of that. I don't really care about the financial part of the Instagram followers or whatever. So, but it's still so, it seems like a very dramatic decision for not a very dramatic thing.
It's a testament to WWE's slow burn character arcs that it feels like they've changed so much since, but you can't quite put your finger on exactly when. Seth said he sacrificed himself for Cody to win that belt against The Rock. How could he even be entertaining the idea of doing a collaboration on Snapchat again? I'm not quite sure what it is. Cody reminded Seth that he's not exactly a moral Puritan here, cough the authority cough, but Seth replied asking, almost pleading Cody to not make him hate him like he does CM Punk. Seth says at WrestleMania he's not coming for his soul, he's coming for his title. Finn Balor was blaming everyone but himself again.
I thought it was all right. I mean, I thought the promo did enough. It did enough to get us to the Elimination Chamber. It did enough to be like, okay, I know what we're looking for at the Chamber.
Mostly Dom for the Judgment Day being lame. But Liv and Raquel stormed into the clubhouse and said everyone needs to focus on them winning the tag titles tonight. Which brings us to the perfect utility heel, Dominic Mysterio. Dom isn't the big heat magnet star of 2023.
Dom is awesome. Dom is incredible. If I had $1 for every time I said Dom should win the Money in the Bank, I'd have probably about $4. Like, this guy is great. If I was in the writing room, I'd be doing everything I could to get him on TV more.
In 2024. But what he has become is arguably more impressive. He uses his character and reactions to get other people over more than himself. Firstly, there was his match against Bron Breakker, where he, Carlito, and Balor made Breakker look indestructible, bumping around for him and letting Bron overcome the numbers disadvantage. It ended in DQ, but Breakker still stood tall, scaring off Balor, potentially adding Finn to Breakker's Bullet Club leader IC feuds. Secondly, in the terrific main event, Dom timed his interference spots perfectly to get the match maximum heat, but never once distracting from the women in the ring. That's not to detract from Bianca, Naomi, Liv and Raquel's work though.
That match was badass. The main event was sweet. I mean, the crowd was into it, the crowd was hot, action was good. There were so many near falls where I thought it was over. The main event was really, really good. The ending was kind of controversial yet brave. It was a little bit quick, but man, what a great match. This was a easily the best match on the card, but really, really, really good work from these four ladies.
Had one of the best and most heated WWE TV matches of the year so far, with
really
multiple believable false finishes. Ultimately, Raquel did all the kayfabe work. She took out Bianca on the outside, whacked Naomi's head onto the ring post.
That was the fall. Like, she hits Naomi's head on the ring post. Naomi kind of rolls off and then gets covered. I thought Liv probably should have hit like an Oblivion or something after that, pinned her, but whatever.
Liv pin her to win and become the new tag team champions, which ingeniously doubles up as a great go-home angle for the Women's Elimination Chamber, where both Naomi and Bianca will target an isolated Liv.
Kind of a weird thing though. So I thought this whole time, like, all right, Liv's gonna win the Chamber, like whatever. But now that she won the tag titles, like, is someone else winning the Chamber? Who's winning the Chamber? Alexa? Bianca? Are we getting to Bianca and Rhea? Is that WrestleMania? Like, face v face? It seems kind of weird. So, or is Liv going to win that and just be the tag champ and going for the world champion? Like, it just seems kind of I was a little shocked at this because, I mean, we got the Jade Cargill angle. How does that fit in with Bianca and Naomi? Like, what road leads to Rhea Ripley? Unless Liv costs Rhea the title next week, and then Iyo is the champion going. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. So this finish did have me a little confused of what is going to happen at the Chamber. So I mean, in that sense, it's great.
Angle for the Women's Elimination Chamber, where both Naomi and Bianca will target an isolated Liv. This week's Raw is 77%. But
it was pretty good. Good Raw. I mean, you know, it happens. A go-home show. Not every Raw is going to be the greatest show you've ever seen. Certainly, you know, at times it's like, all right, we're kind of like when the LWO is wrestling, it's like, all right, what are we doing here? But overall, I thought it was good. So solid Raw, solid lead up to the Chamber. I'm excited for the Chamber now. Let me know what you thought about Raw in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.